Well, everyone loves a good podcast. I think we do here. And our first story on the show today shows why. Fight to Win, How a Little Friction Sparks Innovation is the name of an article that we linked out to in Monday's issue of the Quality Digest newsletter. It originally appeared on the Excellent Knowledge at Wharton blog late last month. And as mentioned, this article is actually a summary taken from a Knowledge at Wharton podcast. The interview subject was Shane Snow, and Shane Snow is the co-founder of the marketing firm Contently. Snow is also the author of a new book entitled Dream Teams, Working Together Without Falling Apart. And makes sense, Contently is a content marketing company, and generally speaking, a company like that tends to have people working from home, working in remote locations, not working together quite as much. So this idea of how teams work together is one that Shane Snow would have at top of his mind. In the podcast, which you can access through the article, which is just down below this video player screen right down there, as all of our stories are. In the podcast, Snow talks about the nature of partnership and collaboration and what factors help teams be most effective. Ultimately, he believes it's the differences in teams rather than the similarities that help bring about the best results. And to explain what he means, Snow uses a couple of interesting analogies. The first is the baking of a cake. In other words, that very different ingredients, all hopefully in proper harmony, make for a delicious dessert. He also asks us to consider what makes, say, a great basketball team, or any sports team really, but basketball team is what he picks in this instance. I mean, sure, you have to have your scorers, people that do the glamorous work of scoring the points and putting the ball in the bucket, but you also need people to kind of do the dirty work, like playing tough defense or rebounding or making really accurate passes. When it comes to business, Snow says this, and I quote, I'm going to show this to you, not getting along well helps a team to turn ideas around and find solutions that no one could think of. It's actually that friction between, as I'm saying, it's actually that friction between different viewpoints and different ideas that brings out the potential to see further than anyone can see. And that's what he's saying, is it's really the teamwork that makes that work. I mean, generally speaking, most people like to get along with their coworkers, and for sure there are some great benefits to the social bonding that happens when people find themselves to be in agreement on things most of the time. But when it comes to achieving like stretch goals, let's say, and the big accomplishments that really move teams and organizations forward, tension is a really good thing as well. Now, I mean, let's be clear, tension doesn't mean those emotional, over the top, knock down, drag out, gutter fights that sometimes pass for meetings, but it does mean being willing to challenge each other, to respectfully debate viewpoints using facts and data, hopefully, and to make your case. I mean, there's always going to be compromise, but ultimately hard-won agreements that emerge from the process like this lead to better outcomes that are well thought out, and those are the ones that really help everybody win and help the organization move forward. I mean, it's really about, as I say, standing up for what you believe in respectfully. You always want to be respectful in those kind of a circumstance, but you also want to get your point across and you want to push back on one another. I mean, if you're all doing what you should be doing and you're all experts in your own field and you all have your perspectives and point of view, hopefully out of that will come some sort of synergy that will lead to better outcomes altogether. That's a really good thing to keep in mind there from Shane Snow. And again, check out the article from Knowledge of Wharton and the podcast as well, just below the player page right down there.